police running all in and out the building. What the hell is going on?
Breaking down all the Raiders draft picks of the 2025 NFL draft and also the predictions. Come check it out. What's good, YouTube? What's good, Raider Nation? We are in the building. Yes, sir. Shout out to everybody out there that is watching, that's listening, that's with us and grooving with us. Definitely, you do not want to miss this live. I got something special for you guys. Breaking down the NFL 2025 draft class of the Las Vegas Raiders. But before we get into all that, shout out to everybody in the chat, especially the congregation. Remember, there is no Raider Twuan without the congregation, and there's no congregation without the Raider Nation. So definitely shout out to everybody in the congregation. Yes, we are here. Hey, we are on the road to 500 subscribers by week 1. That's right. We're trying to get there by week 1. All we got to have you do is hit that subscribe button. It is completely free to do. Hit that like button. Why? Because I like you. And hey, remember, this is just how to support the Raider Nation. So definitely, if you like the Raiders or you just like my Raider gospel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Come on now and join the congregation. Yes, sir. Hey, we are in the building. I see some of you guys coming in with your chats and all that stuff. Shout out to the deacons that are in the building. Deacons, if you can, share this out to whoever, whenever, whatever, you know what I'm saying? So they know that Raider Twuan and the congregation is live. All right. Hey, we're going to be talking about the Raiders draft just recently, and this is the early, and when I say this is early, this is the early predictions of the grade, and also some of the predictions of the players that actually the Raiders have drafted. I'm excited about a few of these guys, and I'll be breaking down each and every one of those guys for you guys tonight. Just give me a little taste of what I think is going to happen from each player, also from how they're going to affect the overall roster, and what I see in regards to what Pete Carroll and John Spytek and staff have put together. We know that it has been a collective effort to put these players together, so definitely we'll be talking about that. So before we get into that, let me give a shout out to a few people in here. Ray Love, I see you in the building, showing love to everybody. Hey, you know what it is. Raiders. That's right. You know what? You know it's the best team and the only team, you know what I'm saying, in the National Football League. Yes, sir. That really matters. All right. Shout out to everybody in Nightbot in here, letting you guys know. Thank you for subscribing. Yes, we are here. Yes. Talking about, you know what? Hey, let's do this. Let's go ahead and start with I think everybody's pick that's exciting. And we'll break that down for you guys on today. Let me get my stuff together here. All right. Hope you guys are having a good, prosperous day and blessed day. Go ahead and do this.
Fucking Stizan. Twuan, hey Twuan, hit that like button. Why? Because I like you.
Yeah, don't forget to hit that like button. All right. First person, and obviously you guys know, if you guys don't know, in the first round we picked up Ashton Jeanty, running back from Boise State. Okay. Ashton Jeanty was the number one running back in this draft class. I'm going to say that again. Ashton Jeanty was the number one running back in this draft class. Now, were there other guys that had good draft grades as to get first round? Yes, there was about 4 or 5 other guys that had a first round grade on them, but this was the one that was consensus overall the number one pick for a lot of teams. Jeanty, what you're going to get from him is you're going to get a solid running back. I think in regards to him, in totality of our roster, I think he is going to be our feature back. There will be sprinkled throughout as we go along. You'll see other running backs coming in. I think that's why we have a insurance policy in Mostert. Also in, some people may not like him, and that's your Raider gospel. But we also have Zamir White still on task. Not saying that he's going to carry the ball a lot for us. I'm really projecting that Jeanty and Mostert will be carrying the most of the carries. But if we had to go with Zamir White, he's available there for us. But I think this is where our offense is really going to take a jump, especially from last year. I think having Jeanty and the other pieces that I'm going to talk about later on will definitely help us moving forward. I will also say, before we get into the other draft picks, that this pick alone, I wasn't too high on until some other things came into place, and we'll definitely break that down because it was actually addressed in this draft, which is a positive in regards to what we're doing here with the Las Vegas Raiders. But yeah, Jeanty's that guy. He had a lot of snaps over at Boise. They used him a lot over at Boise. And pretty much that offense was ran because of this guy. So he's going to be asked to do that along with the other pieces, very talented pieces that we have on this roster. So I see him being the number one running back, even as a rookie starting for us. Okay. Going to the second round, we picked up Jack Besh. Okay. That's right. That's how you say it. Jack Besh. Besh. Okay. Wide receiver. And he's from Texas Christian University. For those that don't know what that is, that's TCU. Okay. When I looked at Jack Besh, this was a guy in the findings of wide receivers, because I knew that in going into this year, that we were going to need to address wide receiver. We were thin at wide receiver. You know what I'm saying? Devontae Adams left. Jacoby Myers was holding it down for us. At wide receiver, he was the number 2, and then he had to move over to the number 1. There was a lot of movement there at wide receiver, and we needed to really address that room. Now we do have Trey Tucker there. Trey Tucker's still going to be, I believe, a piece to this puzzle of our wide receiver room. But I think Jack Bech will slide in and be a starter for us. This is one of the guys that I believe, even on top of Ashton Jeanty, I think Jack Bech is one of those guys that you can just rip the plastic off and he's ready to go. And there'll be some other players that I'll tell you, hey, we can't rip the plastic off on this guy because he's not ready yet to be a starter. But I think Jack Bech will slide in as a starter. Now, I don't know, how Chip Kelly wants to deploy these guys, because we know that Jack Bech has thrived in the slot, but he also can play on the outside. And we have a player that's just like that too, and that's Jacoby Myers. Jacoby Myers can play on the outside, but he's also thrived in the slot. So we'll see what that room does, because even further than that, you have Trey Tucker, and Trey Tucker also is a guy, that some people would prefer him to be in the slot over the outside. So it's going to be up to Chip Kelly how he deploys them, but I think Jack Bech is going to be that wide receiver, starting wide receiver for us when it's all said and done. I like Jack Bech when I looked at his tape and when I looked at his film. His film showed me that he can get open. It seemed like every time, even I watched the highlights, but then I watched his games, and he just found a way to get open. And it wasn't just his route running that he's talented at, but he's also very talented with his hands. Okay. Last year, he only dropped how many passes? 1. Okay. So with that being said, that is a great thing for a young wide receiver to come in and stamp his case. Yes, he's still going to have to compete. Yeah, he's still going to have to, challenge for snaps, and it depends how much talent he puts out there on the field. But we'll see if Chip Kelly draws up something specifically for a player such as Jack Bech. So Jack Bech in the second round is a quality, solid wide receiver for it. Now in the third round, we have Darian Porter. Darian Porter's coming out of Iowa State. And let me give you guys, before I did that, I have my handy dandy notebook. Look, let me give you Ashton Jeanty's measurables. Ashton Jeanty's is 5'8", okay, 211, okay, and that's Ashton Jeanty. Ashton Jeanty is 5'8", 211 pounds out of Boise State. Jack Bech is 6'1", okay, more of a taller wide receiver. 214, okay, 214 coming out of Texas Christian University. And then now we're at Darian Porter. Darian Porter is 6'2", okay, 6'2", 195, okay, coming out of Iowa State. That's right. This is a big body corner. This is a little different from what we have had in the past. We've had a lot of 5'10", 5'11". You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Amik Robertson. He just sticks out to me. But Corian Bennett is more of a smaller frame wide receiver. I mean, not wide receiver, but corner. But here we have Darian Porter. Darian Porter is another big body wide corner, along with DeCamerion Richardson, who's also in that room. Not saying that DCam is going to be a starter for us. I don't think he's not ready to rip the plastic off for him to be a starter, but Darian Porter is also in that same boat. I see with Darian Porter, there is talent there. He can get sprinkled in to be a starter, but I think what's going to happen with Darian Porter is if he does go into the starter role, he's going to have to earn his lumps. And there's going to be some growing pains in regards to Darian Porter. But I think also on the flip side, I think there's also going to be eventually some high praise in regards to the likes of a Darian Porter. I think with his 6'2" ability, he'll be able to match up with the taller wide receivers that are in the game nowadays. But he also brings speed. He also brings speed in the 40 that is going to help him. But also, when I looked at the tape and I saw Darian Porter on tape, he looked very comfortable when the ball is in the air. And that's a positive in regards to the play of a cornerback. When the ball is in the air, that's where, pass interference can be called. That's when, the flag, I say panties on the ground, that's when the flag is being thrown. That is when a lot of negative things happen, especially, us that are Raiders. We know the refs like to throw flags on the Raiders. So with that being said, we need to have savvy corners that when the ball is in the air, they're not freaking out, but they can be controlled and know exactly what they need to do in regards to either punching the ball out or getting the interception. And when I watched Darian Porter, that's exactly what he did. It's something I wish I could put it in better words, but I would encourage you to go back and look at Darian Porter's tape, and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about when the ball is in the air and the way that he attacks the ball. I think that also comes into play because he was a wide receiver that was converted into a cornerback. So I think that's where he gets his abilities from. And I look, that's a positive for us. But like I said in the beginning, I think there's going to be some growing pains in regards to how he is being deployed for the team. Along with the corner, I will say Pete Carroll in his press conference talked about how Darian Porter reminded him of somebody that he's very familiar with, and that is Richard Sherman. Not saying that Darian Porter is a Richard Sherman, not saying that Darian Porter, I'm going to limit Darian Porter to being a, better than Richard Sherman or whatever the situation may be. But when a coach sees that in somebody and has the ability to coach that out of that person, I can trust that. And that's what I'm trusting in regards to Pete Carroll. I think Pete Carroll working with Darian Porter is going to make him be what we have seen in the past of the recent Seahawks cornerbacks. So let's see what Pete Carroll cooks up with our third round pick. Now, when the Raiders were drafting, and I watched all 3 days of the draft. If you haven't watched it and watched the reactions, those are all live on. One was a video, that was the first day, and then the other 2 days they were live on my channel, so you can go watch those reactions. But in the second round, some people were freaking out because they're like, why is John Spytek, trading back? He's trading back and he's trading back. And I was looking at the totality of the talent that was in the draft, and there was plenty of guys that it looked like they were going to land right there in the 3, 4, 4-ish range of the draft. And that's exactly where John Spytek went in regards to getting more talent for our roster. We gained some extra picks because we traded back, and we recouped those here in the third round. So the first pick in the third round was ours, and then these last 2 picks that we got in the third round were because of trade backs, and now we're adding more value. And I'll tell you right now, the next 2 guys, I believe there's some value there. In the third round, one of the guys we picked is Caleb Rogers, guard from Texas Tech. Okay. Caleb Rogers is a 6'4", 312-pound offensive lineman. Now, he was an offensive tackle in college, but they've already said that he is more earmarked towards being a guard. And when I looked at his highlights and looked at his film, I was very intrigued at what I saw from his film. Now, I'm going to talk about the other guy, and I'm going to put both of these guys together. So I'm going to move over to the next person in the third round. Make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe button. All right. The next person in the third round is Charles Grant, okay, from William and Mary, okay. Charles Grant is another 6'4" lineman, and he's 311, okay. So these 2 guys, Caleb Rogers and Charles Grant, those are 2 guys that they drafted in the third round. Caleb they're talking about him. They're looking at him to be a guard. Okay. And for Charles Grant, they're looking at him to be a tackle for us. Okay. Charles Grant does come from a smaller school. So, there's the skepticism about that. But what I will say in regards to both of these guys is what I noticed is that they have drafted some guys that are actually very physical. Okay. And when I talk about physical, I'm talking about someone that can just get into your face, but also they can move. These guys can move. Okay. Before coming into the draft, I was really adamant about getting what I call people movers. Okay. And we need some people movers. And I think Caleb and Charles will try their best to fit that billing. Okay. Now, my projections for them, I think Caleb might slide in to be a starter for us, but he's going to have to definitely show his worth in the offseason. Okay? During the preseason, during training camp, he's going to have to show that he can be that guard for us. Okay? Especially because we're in a situation where we're needy at guard. Okay? And we're trying to solidify those spots. We got Colton Miller on the left tackle. Okay? We need a guard. Okay? At center, JPJ is holding it down at center. Okay? And then at right tackle, we have Glaze. Okay? Now, some people might say Glaze may not fit this system, and that may be the case, and that may be also why Charles Grant is here. But it will definitely be competition. And I'm excited that we brought in these two guys to help us out. Now, remember I told you guys earlier about Ashton Genty, right? And how I wasn't too high on that. And the reason why I wasn't too high on that is because I didn't believe much in our offensive line. Now that they have, attempted to address our offensive line, that makes me feel a little more better about Ashton Genty. I'm not saying Ashton Genty isn't talented, but I also believe that with Ashton Genty with a poor line, it's going to end up resulting in some bad offensive rushing. Okay? So addressing that in the third round, where these guys, whether it's Caleb or Charles, can slide in to be a starter for us, will definitely and ultimately help out this roster and this team. All right. Shout out to everybody in chat. I see you guys in there. All right. So we're moving out of the third and we're going into the fourth. Okay. This was a guy that I actually was looking at in regards to our wide receiving group, because I knew we needed this style and this body type for our roster. And that is Dante Thornton Jr., wide receiver from Tennessee. Okay. He is 6'5", 205 pounds. Okay. 6'5", 205 pounds. That is a big body wide receiver. Okay. Your prototypical X style of wide receiver. But not only that he's a big body wide receiver, but he also has speed. Yes, Dante Thornton runs a 4.3 at 6'5", 205 pounds. Okay? So this is a guy that you do not, this is the guy that you want to, they say, get the popcorn ready. You know what I'm saying? This gives us some options in regards to stretching the field of our, in regards to attacking opposing defenses. Okay. Let me see who's in the building. All Eyes is in the building. Shout out to you, Raider Shield. Okay, Raider Shield family, good to see you. Navy Vet, I see you in the building. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Raider Nation Jason is in the building. Shout out to you, my brother. Blessings to you. Marcus Bank is in the building. Good to see you. Laura Roshita, it's good to see you. Shout out to everybody in here. Make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe button. Definitely help me and the Raider Nation. All right, so Dante Thornton, back to him. Tennessee big body wide receiver. This was the guy that I was looking at in regards to the draft, and was surprised that they were able to get him here and in the 4th round. I will say this: he's going to need some work. Okay, if you're asking for him to stretch the field, he can do that. He can run the post. He can run the 9, which is the just straight streak. You know what I'm saying? He can run the fade. But he's going to have to work on running the route tree if he wants to take his game to another level. Okay? There's a lot of people right now that are projecting him to be a DK Metcalf style of wide receiver. I'm not saying that. I'm just telling you what people are saying. Okay? So that is, if that's your Raider gospel, then that's your Raider gospel. But I believe with Dante, he does have the physical tangibles. He does have the speed. He does have the height. But he's going to have to work on the rest of the route tree to ultimately be that real number 1 wide receiver for us. Now, will he be out there as our number 1? That could be a possibility. I do see him being played in the rotation. I don't think he'll be on the back burner per se, but he's going to have to perfect the route tree. And it's not to his fault. In college football, because the college coaches and the colleges are so forced to win now, all they do is they get a player and then they put them and play them and put them in the best routes that they can put them in. Now, look, if I'm a college coach and I had Dante Thornton, I would be doing the same thing. Look, you running go routes and you running, you running, you know what I'm saying? The fade. You know what I'm saying? You're going to run those because why? I need you to blow the top off the defense so everybody else can run under you. Or if you're really beating that guy, we can just go ahead and beat him on top of the head. Okay? But in the NFL, he's going to have to learn how to run the comeback. He's going to have to learn how to run the hitch. He's going to have to learn how to run the 7 and out. He's going to have to learn, you know what I'm saying, all those types of routes and perfect those routes. So he has some growing to go. He has some room to grow. But I do like what he's already bringing to the table. You guys let me know what you guys think about these players also as we go along. Going along in the 4th round. They double dipped, okay? They double dipped. And went with Tonka Hemingway, defensive tackle from the University of South Carolina. Tonka comes in at 6'2", 284 pounds, okay? 6'2", 184 pounds. He's a smaller defensive tackle. And when I saw Tonka, he reminded me of another body type that we currently have. See if you guys know who that is. He has the body type of Tyree Wilson. Okay? Not saying that Tonka's here to replace someone like a Tyree Wilson, or he may be here to replace someone like a Tyree Wilson. But this one was a little this one I wasn't too sure about. So this is where I trust the staff as to why we brought in Tonka Hemingway. Okay. This is a guy that I think is going to be not a starter. I think this might be a guy that might be in the rotation, but he's going to be deep in the rotation. Okay? He's going to be deep in the rotation. Okay? You may not see him unless there's an injury. And that's fine too, right? We need depth, right? We need depth on this roster. So I think that's where Tonka Hemingway will attempt to make his money. Okay? Now, in the 6th round, we did a lot of things. And this is one guy that I'm really intrigued about. And definitely, I'll tell you that this is a guy that you need to keep an eye out on too. JJ Peggies. Okay. Defensive tackle. He's coming in at 6'2", 309. Okay. Out of Mississippi. Okay. Ole Miss. Okay. JJ Peggies. Mr. Piggies. Okay. Mr. Piggies. Not Miss Piggies. Mr. Piggies. All right. Look, I'll tell you right now, if we didn't have Adam Butler starting for us, I would put him next to Christian Wilkins. Based off of what I saw on tape. Okay? That's how high I feel about JJ. I think you put JJ, if Adam Butler went down, I would slide JJ right in there. Have Malcolm Kuntz, JJ, Christian Wilkins, and Max. Okay? So this guy, I'm not marking him as a starter or projecting him to be a starter early. I think he's going to be definitely that 6th man in regards to the defensive tackle. You know what I'm saying? If one of the starting D tackles need a break, I think Peggies will get in there. Okay? And I think he'll do well. I've seen him slide tackles for tackles of loss. I've seen him collapse pockets. And this is all him as a rookie. of course he's a rookie and there's going to be rookie lumps, and yes, he's going to have to grow and get better, but I'm going to tell you right now, I'm pretty high on JJ. Okay? Now, I don't know, because I did see on tape that they did use him offensively, more like a fullback, running back type of situation, goal line, type of rushing. And we'll see what, Chip Kelly decides to do in that effort. But what I'm looking at in regards to him on the D line, I like what I see. He already has pass rush moves. He does have a spin move. So he's similar to Max Crosby. Max Crosby has that spin move that he likes. Peggy's has one. Not saying it's like Max, but he has a style of a spin rush. Okay. So you have a defensive tackle that's not just a run stuffer, but he can, again, split gaps and also have some pass rush ability. So that's JJ from Mississippi out of the 6th round. Our first pick in the 6th round. And also, we have in the 6th round 2 interesting guys. Okay? Tommy Mellott. Oh, not Mellott. Mellott. Okay? Mellott. Tommy Mellott. Tommy Mellott. From quarterback from Montana State. He's coming in at 5'11", 200 pounds. Okay? This one, the Raiders are classifying him to be a wide receiver. But this is also one of the guys that you would consider to be what they call a joker, which means that he can run, he can pass, he can catch, okay? He can rush. And I think he's going to have the opportunity to do that. Okay? Very athletic. I don't think his arm is an NFL arm. But if you asked him to dump a pass off to somebody, he could. Yeah, this one's a little interesting. This gives me, and I hate to say it, but it kind of gives me the Lynn Bowden vibes. Not saying that he's a Lynn Bowden, but I will say that he has those abilities to do all of that. Now, that was, Lynn Bowden was different from this regime and this coaching staff. So, we gotta give Mellott a fair shake in regards to how he might be deployed in this Chip Kelly offense. Now, my mind can go all different directions as to why we brought in somebody like a Tommy. Okay. And we'll see. We've seen Chip Kelly do some traditional stuff, but we've also seen Chip Kelly do some freaky stuff offensively. You know what I'm saying? Drawing up plays. So, who knows? Who knows with this pick? I'll say that. Who knows with this pick how it's going to work for us, but ultimately how even if he makes the team, right? Now we got Cam Miller also in the 6th round. This is where, they were both quarterbacks, but this one, Cam Miller is more classified to be a quarterback for us. I think with Cam eventually is going to be battling it out. Okay? He's going to be battling it out with Aiden O'Connell and Carter Bradley. For those spots. Now, in the totality of the 53-man roster, we'll see most of the time they'll carry 3. You have your starter, your backup, and then your third is your emergency quarterback. So we'll see what they do. But Cam has a shot. Okay? Cam has something that some of these other quarterbacks don't. And that's the legs. Okay? We know Aiden O'Connell is a good passer of the ball, but his legs are lacking. Okay? Carter Bradley is more of that style too. So Cam Miller comes in having a little more escapability, having a little more mobility, and I will see, and we shall see how this all plans out, how it all works out for in preseason. We already know Geno Smith is a starter. There's nobody unless the earth shakes and a quarterback comes out of the ashes that will supplant Geno Smith. But the second quarterback and the third quarterback are definitely up for competition. And this is where Cam is going to have to make his play. Okay? If you ask me my prediction, I think he'll eventually be practice squad. I think he'll be practice squad. Okay. And the last pick of 2025 NFL Draft, the Las Vegas Raiders select Cody Lindenberg, linebacker, Minnesota. Cody comes in at 6'2", 236. Okay? At linebacker. Now, when we were going through the draft, I was, if you listen to me live, I didn't understand why we didn't address linebacker. But they decided to do it here with the 7th round pick. When I looked at Cody, I saw him coming downhill a lot. He looked like a good tackler in space. But he has some room to grow. At this moment, Cody Lindbergh is a 2-down back. Again, this is my Raider gospel. I think he's a 2-down back. He's going to have to work on his coverage. If he's going to have first of all, he's going to have to make the team. Okay. But he also, if he wants a long career in the NFL, he's going to have to learn how to cover. Okay. With that being said, even with his deficiencies and what I see that he needs to improve on, is still putting notice for some of the other linebackers in this room, like Amari Burney, like Amari Gaynor, Tommy Eichenberg. Okay. And currently on the roster, there's only one linebacker that this organization is believing in. And when I say believing in, I'm saying trusting financially. And that's the Landon Roberts. Okay. Devin White is here. Devin White does have talent. But this organization had only put him on a 1-year contract. So that tells me that they don't fully trust Devin White being a solidified starter for this team. He's going to have to prove it. And I think Cody Lindenberg, I'm not going to say he's going to push Devin White, but I think he's going to push some of these guys that have been recently drafted and selected in the past, was it 2-3 years? Yeah. So we'll see what this 7th round pick does in preseason. I'm excited, to be honest with you, as I get into my final thoughts on this roster. I'm excited to see what preseason looks like. There's going to be a competition at quarterback that's going to look real good. There's going to be a competition at linebacker. I'm foreseeing that's going to be good. And we'll see what these wide receivers do and these other picks do. The O-line is definitely going to get worked out. We'll see, how Caleb and Charles fare in the preseason, and that'll ultimately, place them where they need to be placed. But we have some pieces here. And, I think in totality of what we got in the draft, I think we addressed what was needed, offensively for this team. I'll say that, and shout out to Lunatic Raider, because I said this on his show, Raiders Allegiance. If you guys have not checked out his show, definitely you want to check him out. He has an amazing show that you want to, definitely dive into. But I was talking to him last year about the draft, and it holds true again. I said, you know what? we look at these players and we look at, oh, I want this guy, I want that guy, you know what I'm saying? I want this guy, I want that guy. And they, it may not happen. But we have to take into consideration that it may not be the guy that you want, but they may have addressed the position that we need. Okay? And I think that's where, when you're looking at building a roster, yes, it's great to have, I want that guy, right? But if there's another guy that fills that for them, hey, let's run it, right? I think going into this draft, we knew that we needed help on the O-line. They addressed that. Some people weren't, a lot of people were not happy with the run game, including me. The production of the run game. We did that with the linemen also, Ashton Genty. We needed a big body wide receiver, and they addressed that. There was many different positions that we needed, and this organization addressed it. Okay? They addressed it. May not be the person, like I said, may not be the name you want, but the position you wanted. They addressed it. And we're just going to have to trust that, they couldn't get everybody. But ultimately, I don't think there's anybody that was way too alarming for me in regards to this draft. There are some things that I'm like, hey, let's wait and see. Let's figure it out. But ultimately, my early grade, before I give my early grade, you guys put your grade in the chat. Give me your early grade and predictions. Captain Frucho is in the building. Good to see you. Give me your early grade, if you guys want, in the chat. And I'll give you mine. My early grade for the Las Vegas Raiders of the 2020-25 NFL Draft. I give it a B. I give it a B. And here's why I give it a B. It really was close to being an A. I give it a B because of just personally, I don't know how Tonka's going to play out for us. And Melot. I'm intrigued about those guys. And that's why, but I still like, I don't know. Okay. And I also felt like we could have brought in some stronger talent into our linebacking room, because we are ultimately very thin, I believe, in some starting caliber linebackers. So that's why I gave it a B. Not saying that that's a bad grade. Obviously, it's not a bad grade, because I could have gave it an F, right? But I didn't do that. That was just. I think Spytek and Pete Carroll did as best as they could. They got more value Out of the picks we had, I think we had 9 total picks going in. We came out with 11, so we added 2 more players, by trading back and getting some value. And picking up what we needed. Look at you guys in the chat. If you guys got your grades. Because definitely you guys know I'm Raider Twuan, but it's also about the congregation. So I'm going to look at the congregation. When I say congregation, I'm talking about those that have subscribed. But I'm calling the chat the congregation because that's what they said they wanted to be called, is the congregation. So, because they named themselves, if you guys didn't know that. But yeah, I'm gonna scroll up and look at you guys, see what you guys got. I see you guys saluting everybody in the building. I really appreciate that. You guys show love to everybody in the Raider Nation. Yeah. Hey, I'm gonna read this Raider Shield. He said, "We got to do shit, mate. this cap gonna be bloody. All the MFers got to prove. Hey, look, everybody's put on notice. Everybody's put on notice, and I like that. I think the only people that's safe is Max and Gino. Okay. Don't be surprised if they bring in a kicker or two. I'm just saying. Navy vet agrees with me. Said, "Let the best man win." You know what I'm saying? I'm paraphrasing, but you know what I'm talking about, Navy vet. All love, man. I appreciate you, Raider Shield fam. Please hit that like and subscribe button. Appreciate you. Please do that. Hey, I appreciate you. I'm gonna read this for those that are listening. If I could snap super chat, I would here. Because Twuan knows the team. Okay, I appreciate you, man. And yeah, it does a lot. Yep. Hey, look, I try to put that work in, man. Hey, for those, and I don't do this all the time, but for those that want to, it's not a super chat, but you can contribute to the channel through Cash App or Venmo. That's actually going across the screen there. And then also, and then down in the description of all my videos and lives is also where you can also see how you can financially give to the channel, which again is ultimately going to go back to the channel. Okay. So I appreciate that. If you guys want to super chat, I don't ask for those because obviously I'm not monetized at this moment. But if you are wanting to, bless the channel, then please do so there. Also, oh, here we go. Also, Nightbot is letting you guys know donations are never expected but greatly appreciated, and that's exactly what it is. So the information is right there for you. Also, if you are interested in not necessarily doing a super chat, but blessing the channel financially, it would definitely help out a lot. Hey, yeah, hey, Jinty did say grab the popcorn. Hey, look, look, we need to make sure that O line is popping in front of him so he can go ahead and get it real greasy in the Legion Stadium. You say sliding them tackles, all the way to touchdown. So I'm excited, man. There's something to be excited about. I'll say it like that. There's something to be excited about. Not saying that it's a complete product, not saying that it's all the way there, not saying that we're, going to the Super Bowl, but I do see that there is a step up in improvement from what we have seen in the past. Hey, you talking about? Hey, Ray Love say you gonna be the biggest fullback. Hey, tell me about it. Hey, you talking about JJ being a fullback? Hey, the only person I forgot who else they did that. I think they did that in Baltimore. I forgot who they had like this big old dude playing fullback. That might be JJ. Okay, so we'll that for JJ Pay, he plays defense, but they might let him, let him get a couple of snaps on goal line because to be honest with you, and I'm not discrediting Genty, but Genty is, he's smaller. You know what I'm saying? Can Genty bounce off of tackles? Yes, but is Genty going to truck somebody? We'll see, right? I'm not putting limits on him, but I'm just saying, hey, we're gonna need, we might need that big body, get it in at goal line, and if they trust Pegas, with the ball handle, hey, why not? That's a bigger body. Hey, what's good, OJ? Hey, OJ. Hey, you know I'm here to talk about that Raider gospel, man. That's what I'm here for. You know what I'm saying? Raider Twuan in the congregation, and I'm here to spit my Raider gospel. Eventually, I will be having people pull up, not specifically this live, but as we go on. And again, I'll be allowing folks to come on, in the congregation, and I'll let the congregation, spit they Raider gospel on panel. So get ready, OJ. I'm gonna need you on screen, bro. Yes, sir. Yeah, hey OJ, I think yeah. I'm with you too. I think 2 or 3 of the players will contribute early. Okay? If you ask me who those 3 are, just right now, I'll give you obviously Genty. I think Pegas is gonna contribute early, and it's between I want to say Porter, but I'm more leaning towards Thornton. Okay. But yeah. Oh, no. Hey, I think no, because I think that's a competition. Hey, be ready for Caleb Rogers. I think Caleb Rogers at guard might be something to see this year. If not, he'll be solid depth. Or young depth, I'll say it like that. Not solid depth, but young depth. So I know some people is probably like, what the heck is he talking about? JT said he'll be tight end. Yeah, hey, you know what? He might be if you're talking about Melot, he might play that because that's what they did over at the Saints. They put Taysom Hill at tight end. Okay. And that might be, he might move around. You know what I'm saying? That might be the he's a running back this year because we're trying to fit the roster, or we try to, whatever. He's classified at the moment a possible athlete. I'll say it like that. Raiders Allegiance agreed, said he's a B. Like I said, Navy Bet said an A-, and these were the grades. And if you want to put your grade in, what you think about our draft class? Navy Vet said A-. Okay. Alpocalypse, good to see you. B+. Passed on Milrow 5 times. Other than that, night and day from usual. Hey, look. Hey, isn't that refreshing? Right? Isn't that refreshing? Yes, sir. All right. Eric said B. Okay, so he agrees with me. Okay. Apocalypse said all the offense picks blocking as main components of their game, especially if JJ Peg is playing part-time fullback. We become a dangerous team again. Hey, there's a lot of potential there. There's a lot of potential there. Potential. I'm mixing Pegasus with potential. See, right? There's a lot of potential there, and it's going to be up to these coaching staff to pull that out of them. Okay. Hey, look, that's what I got, you guys, for my early grade of this draft. I think obviously the grade will change as time goes, but I believe that they addressed maybe not all the pieces that we needed to address to really fill out this team, but they addressed some of the major pieces in this team with personnel. Not saying that those guys will be the solidified thing, because again, it's up to them and the coaching staff on how that fully plays out. But at least they're attempting, at least they're attempting to build out the roster in which it should be filled out for us to be dominant. Okay? You guys stay tuned for preseason, because I will be following these guys on Twitter. I'll be tweeting, or X, whatever you call it. So stay tuned, because I'll be like, hey, Pegasus is out there doing his thing, or Thornton need to stop dropping the ball, or you know what I'm saying? So you definitely want to catch me on X at Twuan. Oh, Twuan, TWUAN. That is also how you can find me on Instagram. That's right, Instagram, IG. Follow me on Instagram at Twuan, TWUAN. Here at Raider Twuan, we are advocates for being an organ donor. If you're interested in being an organ donor, please consider being an organ donor. That is in the description of all my lives and all my videos, and also in the chat. So please consider yourself being an organ donor. And again, my IG is there for you guys. If you guys need prayer for you or your family members, hit me up on IG at Twuan, TWUAN. Your business is between me, you, and the Lord. I don't put your business out there in the street. I just want to be in prayer for whatever's going on in your life. Maybe you may be praying for a job, or praying for health of a family member, or whatever it may be. Please hit me up on IG so that I can be in prayer for you or your loved one. That's what I do for all of the Raider Nation. Again, all content creators, if you're interested in having me on your show, be on panel, hit me up on IG. I'm available to work with all content creators for whatever shows you guys may have. And I'm willing to share my Raider gospel on your channel if need be. You guys know what I always say, and I gotta pull it up. There you go. Hey, hit that like button and subscribe.
Fucking Stizan. Twuan, hey Twuan, hit that like button. Why? Because I like you.
And remember, you're a blessing. Be a blessing to someone else. And let's go, Raiders.
What up, love?
Today is the day when our heroes of the past become our legends of the future. Time never really stops for the great ones. We wrap them in a cloak of immortality and remember what great people they were. We recognize you, Virginia Man, his sons Mike and Joey. They were a football family, so that John could pursue his dreams.
To Raider Twuan team on the road, and a tribute to Virginia Madden and Al Davis. We declare that the fire that burns the brightest in the Raiders organization is the will to win. Ladies and gentlemen, the Madden family.
What up, low?
Hey, Raider Twuan here. You must watch one of my videos or lives. Thank you for watching. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and it's right there. Or if you want to watch one of my videos, watch it right there. And let's go, Raiders.